If you're a guy looking to maximize your testosterone levels naturally, then this is going to be for you. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Harrison Orr. I've personally helped over 500 or almost 500 guys to optimize their health and performance. And last time I had a blood test, my testosterone levels were 20% higher than the natural reference range. Completely natural, so that's how I know what I'm talking about here. And I guess, let's be real, this is not a magic pill. I'm not about to sell you some supplement, some shitty little biohack, or something that's going to short-term or minusculely increase your testosterone. This is some of the base foundations of why a lot of guys have testosterone issues in the first place. And so if you resonate with some of the symptoms of low testosterone, like you've got low energy, you're exhausted no matter how much you sleep, your drive in terms of your motivation for sex, for success, for hard tasks that you used to have is just gone. Like your desire for just the easy road, the path of least resistance, and just it's fine. Like you don't have that competitiveness, that grunt, that energy for life that you used to, then this is going to be helpful. And so if you resonate with those symptoms, or you've had a blood test that has shown that you've got low testosterone, a lot of guys jump instantly to, cool, how can I increase my testosterone? Which then takes down the path of supplements or TRT or all these other things. For a lot of guys, I think it's a much better question to ask, why do I have low testosterone? What is causing this low testosterone? Because then naturally, the fastest way to improve that testosterone level is to fix the cause, right? If you want to improve something, in my opinion, the fastest way to get better and improve anything is to, first of all, stop doing the stuff making you worse. Like if you're trying to lose fat, sure, you can go to the gym, you can change your diet, all that kind of stuff, but the first thing that you can do is stop doing the shit making you worse. Stop drinking alcohol, stop ordering KFC, stop doing all those things that are making it worse, and by default, you'll get some natural results from that. And then anything you do beyond that you get so much better results and so much more traction moving forward because you've removed the friction, you've removed the thing slowing you down. And so this is about removing the thing slowing you down. And of course, if you're 30, 40 plus, you're going to say, oh yeah, but what about age? Age is, sure, a factor for 1% a year, right? Our testosterone declines by 1% each year beyond, I think it's about 30, right? Okay, so that can account for 1%. And so there's a hell of a lot more that we can still do about that if we're lower than 1% than where we'd like to be or where we should be. And so for a lot of guys, this lack or low testosterone is going to be caused by one thing primarily, a fried nervous system, right? And our fried nervous system, essentially, or what that looks like in terms of symptoms, is high stress, so high cortisol, high stress, poor sleep, right? When we're always reactive, we're always operating out of fight or flight mode. Because when we're operating out of fight or flight mode with high stress all the time, it means that high cortisol is eventually going to suppress that testosterone, which means our threshold to stress becomes lower and lower, which means we need less stress to feel the high effects of that stress. And then so that suppresses our testosterone. The suppressed testosterone, the high stress, embellishes overwhelm, anxiety, even depression in some guys. And that also leads to poorer quality of sleep, which then starts to fuel this cycle. Poorer sleep, higher stress, lower testosterone, and repeat. And so if you resonate with some of those symptoms and you've even had that low testosterone test, what you can do, which is going to not just optimize your testosterone, but optimize your health as a whole, is get on top of your nervous system. And what that looks like is, first of all, regulating your nervous system, which for a lot of guys is their circadian rhythm and their sleep. So getting morning sunlight, 20 minutes within an hour of waking up, on as much skin as possible, on bland eyes. So no sunnies or anything like that. Don't stare into the sun, but getting that sun. That's not only going to help improve your energy levels, your serotonin levels, your vitamin D, your testosterone, but also your circadian rhythm, so that later that day, or that night, I should say, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to get to sleep, because that bright light has then set off a cascade of hormonal and internal effects and reactions that tell our brain and our body when to be alert, like around the time you're getting that bright exposure, and then hours after that, when to start to wind down, when nighttime is coming, when sleep is coming. And then when we release all those melatonin and sleep producing hormones, we start to dip down just in time to go to bed. And our brain is then expecting to be in bed. So we can get a much deeper quality or higher quality of sleep, as opposed to having all these signs like blue light and stimulation late at night, which are telling our brain, no, don't get sleepy. We're not getting ready for bed yet, which confuses everything. And consequently, we get poorer sleep. So getting that sunlight. 2, having practices in place to address that stress. I used to think that the goal in life was to be stress-free, right? To minimize stress as much as possible so that we could be calm and joyous and like stress-free and all that stuff. When I realized, especially as a guy, as a man, that that'd be pretty boring. Like, we like challenge in order to grow. We need it to grow. So we need that challenge. And so my position thinking on that has shifted. Instead of we want to be stress-free, we want to be stress resilient, right? So instead of lowering all the stress, we increase our resilience to stress. So it's like, how can I handle more stress, but not experience the symptoms or the effects of that stress? So how can I handle as much stress as physically possible in the gym so my muscles will grow, so I'll get fitter? How can I handle as much mental stress as possible in my personal growth and in the business so that we can keep growing at a rate that I can sustain without my sleep being impacted, without my ability to be present with my wife and my son? And how can I still go through these days in control, both physically, emotionally, and mentally? And so having those practices, for some guys, it's breathwork. Personally, I'm a big fan of things like breathwork and journaling. It helps me to remove the emotion of what's going on up here, of the thoughts of the situation, and then decide on what is the most relevant and highest ROI action that I can take on addressing this thing and moving forward. For some guys, it might be a walk, it might be sitting in nature, it might be a hard workout, something that enables you to address that stress and then take the most appropriate path moving forward, and then get that stress out of the way because we've identified it, we've taken action on it, we're not sitting here ruminating on it, and then we move on. 3rd is a sleep routine. If you're not already getting amazing quality sleep, and by amazing quality sleep, if you track it with an Oura or a Whoop, then you'll know if your sleep is amazing or not. If you don't have one of those wearables, then you'll know if your sleep is amazing or not by how you feel when you wake up. Do you feel rested, rejuvenated, recovered? So after about 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, do you feel energized, mentally focused, like you don't have brain fog or you're not tired or exhausted, and you can go through the day? And then you're able to go through the day without needing a nap, without relying on stimulants to get you through the day, and you can function without any of those things with a clear, calm mind and stable energy. So those are those 3. I'm going to cut this here because I don't want this video to drag on too long. If you want an article absolutely free that I wrote for a health and wellness brand on how to improve your testosterone levels through the optimization of your nervous system and addressing the root cause, then comment test on this and I'll send it to you for free.